Imagine that. Yeah. You put 3 a.m. on the slap and me on the raps. Ain't got it complicated, keep it simple as that. So target on you when you young, rich, and you black. Ain't got a lie to kick it, I'ma get you with facts. Keep it 100 if you feeling me. I know the energy is bumping, what's it finna be? I heard the enemy go coming from my winning streak. And cocaine, a young hyena, word to spit a P. Location's everything. In prime real estate, the city in my backyard. With niggas starting new life just to act hard. One alone off other people credit, bro, that's tax fraud. I left the pin code, I'm revoking niggas black cards. And pocket checking too, cause I need all that. For all the little homies trying to get they ball back. And part-time niggas treated like a fallback. If you ain't building, you destroying where your heart at. Like where you from, what's your name, where your bars at? Like where your scars and your stories from the combat. Like redefine printing letters of them contracts. While I'm sagging, if I ain't the realest, what you call that? Small flex, Miles took the lead. No contest, niggas got their arms stretched when we hit the scene. And used to pray that we fell off, please. The locksmith here to sell y'all keys, get in with me. Like what's worse, being trapped in a cage or never spreading your wings, you trapped in a maze. And Pop showed me Nas lost tapes back in the days. And that's when he was telling me the rap was a phase. Green Plymouth rapping my waves, we only drove buckets. Cam put me on Wayne inside his gold cutlass. A knee high, wasn't no AC in the G-Ride. The windows down, mobbing through the east side. It's just like that. You feeling me? You feeling me? You feeling me? I'm feeling you. You feeling me? You feeling me? I know you feeling me, cause I've been feeling you.
KBLA Talk 1580, that's Miles Low Music. I know you wanted to hear it by, we're going to call it popular demand, because folks love Miles around here. You got your own fan club.
Love my people back.
Yes, indeed. And Miles has new music. Go get it. Remind them where to get it, Miles.
And it's called Imagine That. You can get it anywhere you get music. That includes YouTube. That includes the Spotify's. But I prefer you go to a spot called even.biz where you can buy the art from the artist. Even.biz, or a space like Bandcamp where you can buy the art from the artist, support the artist. Yeah, man. And on top of that, own the music. Own the content. Own what you pay for. Stop just renting and leasing and streaming everything. Own something for a change.
Yeah. It's funny because when I think it was HBO and Netflix decided to drop a whole bunch of movies, take them off the service, including some anime films that my child likes. There was a whole panic about this. Now you can't get these films anywhere unless you own the DVD, which who does? No, nobody does anymore. But it kind of was an argument for exactly that, whether it's a CD, a DVD, at least a digital file. If you don't own it, it can be disappeared at any moment by whatever that service provider is. If Spotify goes out of business or decides they no longer want to carry Miles Low, or Apple Music decides they're mad at Ye, or Ye is mad at them, it disappears from your service. Now you don't have access to it. And we've gotten away from the idea. When I was a kid, you bought the CD when it came out.
Right.
Now we just stream and we can hear anything we want so easily, but we don't have access to it unless they say we do.
Right. And, it leads to a couple things. One, we don't appreciate the music and the art like that anymore. It's more just background music at a certain point, or, the soundtrack to your car ride instead of you really living with the songs and the music. And yeah, we're seeing these companies get bought up and get partnershiped up and change hands. So you never know who the art's going to be in the hands of soon.
Right.
So.
Exactly. And what their agenda is.
Exactly. Yep.
And we look at the way that corporate America is cooperating with the White House right now in terms of erasing Black history and whatever. You could say I'm being hyperbolic, but you heard what I said before the election. I think I was a little too low key. I mean, they really are going in on that micro level and could be like, oh, Miles, that's too much positivity. We're going to take this off of this platform, this platform, this platform. Mm-hmm. But if you own it, you can still listen to it.
Exactly. So yeah, and what will your world be when music goes away like that?
Oh, no, it's not going away. It can't go away like that. We'll be playing music. We'll be back to strumming guitars and stuff. To me, when times are hard like right now, and I do consider a hard time, even though I'm thriving personally because of what's happening in the world. I mean, look at Gaza. Look at what's happening. Children are starving. Like, it's crazy. being bombed and the stripping of rights and that budget that that Trump is headed to Washington today. I mean, to Capitol Hill, where Congress is, to try to strong arm people into passing a budget that gives tax cuts to the rich, dramatically increases our debt, and strips away money for Medicare, Medicaid services for the elders. I mean, it's in all those times. That's when I need music. That's when I need. I'm listening to more music than ever. Just everything, reaching back, trying to hear new stuff because it inspires me.
Yeah, I'm with you there too. I think that we'll never. I didn't mean as if like when music goes away. I mean when the access to music goes away. When that, I mean, we so used to going to the well when we got to actually catch our own rainwater. What do we got to do? How are we going to support artists? We don't even have CD players in our cars anymore. People are just plugging an aux cord in and doing it like that. So, and I'm sure we'll have more independent routes for you to get your music. Of course, I mean, the technology isn't going anywhere, but just saying, once that access is gone and you can't listen to your favorites whenever you want to because you don't own the albums anymore.
Yeah, no, you're right. I still have all my old school stuff. Dion says Miles got bars. Dion Raymond, our colleague. Yes, he does. Yes, he does. Absolutely. And then I'm not tracking this, but Jeff M says, I wonder how Miles feels about Joey Badass trying to bait Kendrick and the West into coming for him.
Smart move. Now's the time to do it. The West is on fire right now. Joey might have bit off a little more than he can chew. The West is kind of on his tail right now. But Joey Badass is a hell of a rapper, so
yes,
he'll be all right. But right now he's got like 3 or 4 people on his head. Ray Vaughn, who's on TDE, Reason, who used to be on TDE, have been the main people getting at him.
Is Reason independent now?
Independent now, yeah.
Yeah, and yeah. Well, I mean, like you said, that's now we're talking about Joey Badass in the chat, and we weren't.
Exactly. And, it goes to show that hip-hop is still alive and well. The sport of hip-hop, the lyricism of hip-hop is still exciting. It still grabs headlines like that. So don't let it be a distraction, y'all. There's a lot going on right now. But shout out to hip-hop. Shout out to Reason. Shout out to Joey Badass. Shout out to Ray Vaughn. Shout out to Daylight, battle rapper, getting into the motion as well. So we're going to get to see some songs from him. So he's starting to blend those cultures a little more. I'm happy for that. I would love to see that. That might be the new wave going forward. Let the battle rappers get some love.
Yeah, I mean, because that's kind of how it started, right?
What started?
Rap. Yeah. Well, I was kind of there.
Battle rappers will start, you mean?
Kind of. It's kind of what started hip hop. What kind of started rap. I mean, I know there was the party thing. The DJs are there, and you're yes, yawling. But as far as it getting deep, it was people battling on corners. And then in basements while people did break dancing or burning, as they used to call it, on cardboard. Like, that's what it was.
Right. Well, I mean, you're a little more of a historian than me, so I'll accept that. But I always saw battle rap as being like a subculture part of it. Like if the game is basketball, the slam dunk contest was battle rap.
Right. Well, so what I'm saying is that the slam dunk contest started basketball in the case of hip hop. That's what I believe. Because although
the party
they
over
always
the poetry over
yeah. Well, okay. To the point of popularity that it is now. Because you're right, the Watts Prophets and all those guys, the Gil Scott Herons, they weren't battle rapping. They were, even though they did poetry slams. Right. But the slams weren't big back then. So yeah, that's true. And all of the people like assisting DJs and getting the party hype was really what's credited with starting hip hop. But I'm just talking to you about what I saw with my eyes, which was people on corners, people inside of clubs at parties, people on radio shows like the Wake Up Show and stuff, battling and freestyling and trying to see who was better. That was where the excitement was in the early days, because people weren't making big money like they are now.
You can't sit up here and talk sales with somebody. You got to actually compete with your pen, your skills.
Yeah, it wasn't a money game. It was about, who had the cipher, and, who had bars.
You can control the crowd more.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you were or are a battle rapper. You were as a kid. I know that.
Yeah, I used to be a battle rapper. I used to do battle rap. But for me, though, it was always... I always wanted to get to the music, though. I never wanted to just stay a battle rapper. Some people love battle rap. That's all they do. Some people are just dunkers. Some people are just three-point shooters, and they're the best three-point shooter at the park. Right. So they go ahead and do that with their friends, as opposed to, let me try out for the NBA. Let me try out to go play overseas and actually try to organize game. So that's why I always looked at battle rap as like the side quest of the culture. But it's still a big part, and, it's a often overlooked part. We've kind of gotten a lot more buzz the last decade or so, but really overlooked.
Well, it's interesting to me just to hear your perspective, because back in the day, once upon a time, young Miles, we didn't even make that distinction. Like, every rapper was supposed to have, be able to battle.
Right.
That's just what it was. If you can't battle, you ain't really a rapper. Now,
I'm from that cloth, and but I never wanted to stop there. I never looked at, there was never a career path or, I'm going to get my family out the hood through battle rapping before.
I got you. Yeah. Does that happen?
It happens now. Now we're seeing, the money's kind of dying off in battle rap. But right around that COVID time, when the apps were really starting to take off, the independent streaming apps, the caffeines and, those type things were kind of taking off. But right now, the money's kind of dried up. But you can make a decent living being a consistent battle rapper. You date a battle rapper, Dominique?
Huh?
You date a battle rapper?
Would I?
Successful battle rapper.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Okay.
I'm not a snob. Like, why are you asking me that?
What do you do, babe? I'm a battle rapper. Okay, all right.
I mean,
it means battle rappers getting the respect.
I would have to
date a battle rapper.
I would have to like the person. That's what's important. It's not the vocation. I mean, it's nice if you're successful. You don't want to be a startup battle rapper, and
right.
In my category, right? But if I like the person, it's not their job. It's them that's gonna make me date them. I'm not a snob. I'm a food snob.
Believe you not.
Not a man snob. I'm a man snob only in the quality of your character, not in your credentials.
Got you. Okay. Well, shout out to the battle rappers, y'all. We are on deck now, y'all. Dominique DiPrima is open for battle rappers.
Oh no! I hope I don't get a bunch of DMs. No, I'm not gonna say that. Come on. Big Phil, you got the mic.
Morning, Devil. Don't sleep. He's busy. Oh my goodness, he's busy. I see your brother Juan up there.
Yeah.
I seen him on television.
Yeah.
Why did you just leave that lady representative? Why did you mess with the lady representative? Just leave people alone. The devil just busy. Just straight up racist, Leave her alone, okay? Okay? The sister, the representative. So you know what I'm talking about.
Yes, indeed. I do.
Little Miles, he's a little Gil Scott. I call him little Gil Scott Harris now. I like his rap. Very positive. Little Gil Scott, okay? That's Gil Scott Jr. Okay. And let me tell you another thing about the Black Caucus. What's happening with them? They act like they're doing something for black folks to get up there and deny them. What's going on with the caucus, the Black Caucus organization? I think it's ridiculous. What are they doing for us? What are they doing for us? It's always negative.
Well, I think they lobby for certain things. I do think they come together behind some bills. I know they do a lot of partying. I know that. I haven't been to those parties, but they're legendary. I've heard it. I think it depends, Phil. I think it depends who's leading the caucus. Because whoever's in charge, like when Karen Bass was over it, they would have one agenda. When Barbara Lee was over it, they'd have a different agenda. So I think it depends who's leading it.
Well, I'm from the show me state St. Louis. You got to show me the money and show talk the talk, walk the walk. I want action. I'm tired of talking. Anyway, you got to take care. Love you, man. Love Scott. Love you. Got to take care.
Okay. Yeah. Big Phil just came with a whole bunch of topics. The chair of the CBC right now is Yvette Clarke. And I don't know a lot about Miss Yvette Clarke. So I admit I haven't been tracking it. She's from Brooklyn. So that's a good sign. She's a Democrat. She's out of Brooklyn. Big Phil called 800-920-1580, and you can do the same. That's, by the way, that's Congresswoman MacIver, who's now being prosecuted even as they dropped charges against my brother, Newark Mayor Ras Baraka. All right, we got a lot to talk about. We are KBLA Talk 1580.
She's reclaiming her time on KBLA Talk 1580. More First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. You ready?
Somebody make some noise in this joint.
KBLA Talk 1580 celebrates its 4th anniversary this year on Juneteenth.
Here we go again.
Hard to believe 4 years has gone by so fast. Oh my God. But here we are, still standing, still loving and serving our people as best we can.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
To celebrate our 4th anniversary, we have 4 big events, and you're invited to all of them.
She got a lot to say. Let's do this.
Let's get it on! On Wednesday, June 18th, we go live on C-SPAN for the 2nd consecutive year with our Climate Justice plus Black Health Symposium. Tavis Smiley will moderate an all-star panel of thinkers and influencers as we continue our vitally important climate justice work.
Hey, Tavis Smiley, talk about.
On Thursday, June 19th, you're invited to join us as we celebrate Juneteenth and our 4th anniversary. There'll be plenty of food, fun, great music, good vibes, and all of your favorite KBLA Talk 1580 hosts will be there.
Yeah, man.
Flip the beat. On Saturday, June 21st, there are 2 big events you're invited to attend.
I can't wait to hear it.
This year, KBLA Talk 1580 continues its annual partnership with the Empowerment Congress for a community celebration and dialogue to educate, engage, and empower. This year's theme is resilience in the face of chaos.
Can't wait to see what's up next.
Y'all ain't ready for this.
And new this year is our State of Black Women in Los Angeles Symposium, moderated by Dominique DiPrima, with a luncheon to follow. Dominique will be leading a dialogue with some of the most impactful Black women leaders in Los Angeles, and you're invited to join.
This is it.
All of these events are free, but seating is limited, so you must register in advance at our KBLA1580.com website, where you can find all the details you need about each event.
Check it out.
It's our 4th anniversary, and we would love to celebrate it with you.
I love you guys so much. There's nothing you can do about it.
We're KBLA Talk 1580.
The only black talk radio station west of the Mississippi.
Thank you for having our black.
Happy anniversary, KBLA.
We love you.
Oh, these polymers aren't as flexible as batch K3.
Researcher Laurie is stretched thin.
Did you get the vulcanization analytics from V66? Oh, wait, are these rubber scores from last week?
She needs to hire new lab technicians so she can bounce back into her old self.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Our matching platform lets you spend less time searching and more time connecting with candidates. Redeem your $75 credit at Indeed.com/credit. Terms and conditions apply.
Texting enrolls you into reoccurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym for a while.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone.
Lower T?
Yeah, I went through it a while back. Once you hit 40, your body has less free testosterone. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that ad on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The key ingredient is something called Tesnor, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again. At work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text.
Text TIGER to 321-321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T, the #1 selling testosterone booster at GNC. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast. Absolutely free. Text TIGER to 321-321. That's TIGER to 321-321.
The conversation continues right now with Dominique DiPrima on First Things First.
Oh my gosh, Miles got me on these dating questions. Yes, I would date a streamer. The thing is, like I said off the air, why is a streamer worse than a banker? Like,
here's what I'll say, because I think we're at a time now where a lot of these, you can monetize everything.
Right.
Right. Hobbies, side quest can be monetized and be careers. So I know people who play 2K all day, play video games all day, and make money off of it. So,
Right.
just the perception of that, you're just seeing where your mind be on.
I guess I'm just not a perception girl in that sense. Like, to me, it's how does a person treat me? How do they treat other people? Like the character, the person's character, where's their heart at? And like, do they have good conversation? I'm a sapiosexual, so you got to be smart. If you're not smart, banker or streamer won't do.
He can be on video games and sports bet.
Sure,
and,
if you're
make his money all day.
Sure, Why not?
Respect that. That's what's up.
Wait, that's your career, not mine.
Right.
Does the career provide for you to take me out to dinner? Probably not a drug dealer, but other than that, or
Orally makes sense.
or probably not an arms dealer or a drug dealer.
Okay.
Yeah.
For sure.
I mean, because now we're back to character.
Right.
It's not the perception. It's not because, you are dealing drugs and I have respectability politics. It's because you're destroying our community kind of thing.
I just gamble. I'm on FanDuel all day.
Yeah. Okay, well, probably. I need to know more about that.
I'm winning.
I need to know more about that. I'm not an expert on that, so I would need more information.
Okay.
But for me, it's about the person's character. Would you date a streamer?
Sure. Not like a sex streamer, like an OnlyFans type
Not
streamer,
only. No. Well, I would. No, I don't think I. Are men on OnlyFans? Okay, no. You can tell I don't go there. No, I don't think I would date a sex worker. I don't think I would do that.
Okay.
It seems like you probably could. Anyway, let me not say that. I don't want to disrespect the sex workers, but.
You don't.
But I mean, would you date a banker?
Sure. Yeah.
Would you date a battle rapper, woman?
I'm open to it. You got to be good at it.
That's funny. I'm more open-minded than Miles.
It's weird for me dating people that do the same thing I do,
right.
Or in the exact same field I do. What I get a lot of is I may be a little more serious than you are, and that may intimidate you.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you got to be on your grind. I mean,
yeah.
I don't mean like I want you to work smarter, not harder. I want you to have days off and all that. But you got to be motivated. You got to be, especially at the stage in my career that I'm in. You can't be just starting.
Right.
If you want to expand and try something new, I'll support that. But you got to be
in motion,
getting stuff done. You got to make stuff happen.
Right. You also got to have a progressive mind and can't just be, okay, I'm here. This is the peak for me. You know what I mean? Because I'm all about growth and elevation. I'm heading somewhere.
Right.
You know what I mean? So we can head somewhere together. We can roll together. But, you can't be afraid of, I'm not afraid of constructive criticism. You can't be as well from somebody who knows more.
Would you date a drug dealer?
I'm good. I'm good on crimes. I'm good on drug dealers. I'm good on
bank robbers.
I'm good on scammers. I'm good on I'm good on.
No, I wouldn't want to date a scammer either. I mean, because that's back to character. That's why I say my measuring stick is character. We're here in my worldview, my philosophical outlook. We're here to grow better in character. That's why we are here. Right. That is what makes us closer to God. That's what allows us to elevate. And so if you're going the other direction, that's probably not an influence that I need in my life.
Exactly. And that's the maturity part for me, at least, was saying like, we don't need to just be going somewhere. We need to be going in this direction. So yeah, high level elevation is what we going for. So no.
I mean, the lesson in the test is how much do you care what other people think? Right? If you're dating someone and you really like them and they're doing it for you, but other people don't approve, would that deter you?
No, not at all.
Yeah. Well, I like to think the same. I can't prove it, but I like to think the same. Let's go to Fahima calling us. How do we get on that? Oh, Miles asked me would I date yeah. Hi, Fahima. Would you date a battle rapper?
Sure, if that's what he's doing on the side. Roberta Donnie and K Pasa. And before I make a couple of points, I want to say I remember seeing a viral video of a young Miles Lowe dusting his opponent. It should still be on YouTube.
Yes, it has millions of views, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
A young Miles Lowe dusting his opponent.
You were like 14 or something in that video?
16.
You were 16.
Yeah, I battled from 15 to 15, 16, 17, my main years.
Yeah.
But I was calling because I wanted to respond to Big Phil, and I just text you, Dominique, the CBC's portal, which is tracking all the executive orders that this administration has done and the status and disposition. And there are many detractors who have tried to diminish the effectiveness of the Congressional Black Caucus. I just want to briefly make a couple of points. One, the Congressional Black Caucus provides over the years have provided billions of dollars in opportunities, particularly for young people. I myself had the opportunity to work on the Hill for Congressman Charles Rangel, and after finishing my internship, I got a scholarship, but I also had the opportunity to be selected to participate in the U.S. Congress Korean Assembly Exchange Program, where I was in Seoul, Korea for a little over a month, as hosted by one of the Korean assemblymen who actually was a faculty member at Howard at the time. But more importantly, over the past 20-some-odd years, I have written numerous recommendations for my students to access scholarships, internships, and fellowships that the CBC offers. And they even have one now at Oxford in Bob Marley's name. So I would encourage people, if they want to know what the CBC does, go to cbcfinc.org. The foundation has a number of policy papers. They also provide an alternative budget every year. And it is the detractors who contend the CBC isn't doing anything. They don't do anything but parties. Yeah, they have receptions.
They do have parties. I know you're not going to deny that.
Just said, yes, they do have receptions, but they also have very important policy forums, brain trust and what have you. They have stuff on reparations. Every year they've had brain trust on reparations. Congressman Maxine Waters does young gifted.
Okay, hold that thought, Fahima. We're up against it right here with News, Traffic, and Sports. But your point is well taken. Quit playing with the CBC. Yeah. And tracking those executive orders is a big job. It's KBLA Talk 1580.
The station you turn to when you've had it up to gear with cultural incompetence. KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. President Trump, now chair of the Kennedy Center Board, criticized the institution at a White House dinner, calling its modern additions crazy and slamming past programming as woke. He took aim at DEI initiatives, queer and trans youth events, and what he called lesbian-only Shakespeare. Trump vowed to overhaul the center, which recently announced a lineup including Chicago, Moulin Rouge, and Back to the Future, the musical. Self-deportation flights have started with the departure of dozens of illegal immigrants from Houston on Monday. The Department of Homeland Security has been offering $1,000 and a free flight to any undocumented immigrant willing to return to their home country. Monday's charter flight took 38 people to Honduras and 26 to Colombia. And more severe weather is forecast today into the lower Ohio and Tennessee valleys. Damaging winds, hail, and possible tornadoes could threaten the region. Heavy storms will reach parts of Maryland by tonight. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Southern California Edison reminds you that downed wires are dangerous. Never approach or touch a downed wire or anything in contact with it. Stay away and call 911. Learn more at sce.com/stay safe.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The Angels are still playing well. After sweeping the Dodgers over the weekend, they started a 7-game road trip Monday night with a 4-3 win at Oakland. 4 straight win for the Angels and their manager, Ron Washington. The Dodgers have lost 4 straight. They lost 9-5 at home Monday night to Arizona. The Dodgers were down 7-0 after 3 innings. The Western Conference Finals tip off tonight in the NBA playoffs. Minnesota at Oklahoma City in Game 1 of the best-of-7. 2 years ago, Minnesota and OKC played each other in the play-in tournament. Both teams are now one step away from playing for the NBA championship. 5:30 tip-off tonight on ESPN. Detroit Lions general manager Brad Holmes gave the commencement speech Saturday at the graduation ceremonies for HBCU North Carolina A&T. Holmes was a defensive back at A&T and graduated from the school in 1999. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580.
Still getting around to that fix on your car? You got this. On eBay, you'll find millions of parts, guaranteed to fit. Doesn't matter if it's a major engine repair or your first time swapping your windshield wipers. eBay has that part you need, ready to click perfectly into place for changes big and small. Loud or quiet, find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. But you already know that. eBay. Things, people, love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Sometimes I struggle to get to sleep. My body stopped for the day, but my mind is still running. So I take ZQuil.
ZQuil, the world's #1 sleep aid brand, has a range of non-habit-forming products to fit you and your family's needs. Invest in a great night's sleep for the best you tomorrow.
I'm awake and ready to take on anything.
Better days start with ZQuil nights. Explore our products at ZQuil.com. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation, an irregular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduce stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop taking prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. It may increase your stroke risk. Eliquis can cause serious and in rare cases fatal bleeding. Don't take Eliquis if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or take longer for bleeding to stop. A spinal injection while on Eliquis increases risk of blood clots, which may cause paralysis, the inability to move. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding, unusual bruising, or tingling, numbness, or muscle weakness. Medications such as aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners may increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about all planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
This is a story of the one. As a maintenance specialist for university housing, he knows college students can major in wear and tear. Plus, housing so many students doesn't leave a lot of room to house all the supplies he needs. That's where Grainger comes in. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast, dependable delivery, Grainger carries the quality products he needs so he doesn't have to. From a new door hinge to a whole new faucet. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Sometimes an identity threat is a ring of professional hackers. And sometimes it's an overworked accountant who forgot to encrypt their connection while sending bank details.
I need a coffee.
And you need LifeLock because your info is in endless places. It only takes one mistake to expose you to identity theft. LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points a second. If your identity is stolen, we'll fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS at LifeLock.com. Terms apply.
We're not for everybody, but we're for everybody. You're listening to KBLA Talk 1580.
Miles, you started a whole new conversation in the chat aside from their appreciating your music. Somebody as a forensic accountant said, hey, us bankers aren't so bad. Give us some love. I didn't say I wouldn't date a banker. I just was comparing it to streamers. Again, it comes down to character. Fahima called us, 800-920-1580. I invite you to do the same. She was talking about the Congressional Black Caucus because Big Phil called in complaining that they don't do anything. I said I haven't been really tracking them the past couple months, and I don't know much about the current chair. I know she's of Caribbean. She's a daughter of Jamaican immigrants, and she's on the Congressional Caribbean Caucus. She hails from Brooklyn. That's about all I know about Yvette Clarke, the current chair of the Congressional Black Caucus. Fahima calling from D.C., so of course she's more tapped in with that, the politics of that. And I do know that they have a lot of scholarships and internships that are providing meaningful opportunities for people to get in the doors of the Washington establishment. Fahima? Hello? Yeah, did you want to land for me?
Yeah. Just wanted to land very briefly. I just want to say I remember, Congressman Maxine Waters every year does something known as Young, Gifted, and Black, which is hugely popular, where she allows young people the opportunity to interface with people in industry. I remember her brain trust on the CIA crack cocaine forum when I was a student at Howard.
Right.
I attended that. And then lastly, Kimber Smith. You may remember Kimber Smith. Her parents came every year to the CBC and presented a cause for her case. And so there are many people who are detractors who try to belittle what they're doing. Yeah, there are receptions, but anyone can do a reception. And there are groups that will have an event in an adjacent hotel, but those...
I mean, no one cares about that much, Fahima. Everybody in Washington parties, quiet as it's kept. I don't think that's a fair critique, really, is my point. Oh, yeah, but thank you.
If you have children that need scholarship, internships, and fellowships.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Appreciate the defense of that Black institution in our midst. Whew. Denzel Washington went to Cannes Film Festival. Is it Cannes or Cannes? I mean, whatever you call it. I've never been invited. He's actually on Broadway right now. But he got an honorary Palme d'Or, which is their highest honor. And that's congratulations going out to him. He said he was surprised by it. They usually give out one or two every year. George Lucas got one last year. Robert De Niro was awarded one on the opening night of the festival, and that had been announced in advance. But sometimes they do surprises, and this time they surprised Denzel. I love that so much for him. Meanwhile, there's another story going around that Denzel got into an altercation, and there's a picture of him on the red carpet there in Cannes, looking like he's got his finger in some guy's face. And it makes me wonder about that festival, because I feel like last year there was disrespect of Kelly Rowland. It feels like all the time there's some issue with a Black person on the red carpet. So I'm wondering what is up with that. Denzel's never been known for his altercations with photographers, so it makes me feel suspicious. My talking point bashing about DEI, as I said, coming to fruition because everyone on Instagram and Twitter was saying, oh, DEI is only for white women. And now we see that the most people losing jobs last month were Black women. And I tried to tell you that because first of all, I worked in a job that someone would describe as DEI at one point when I worked at the Beat back in the day. I was over the community action department, which was about helping the community. Someone consider that a DEI job. And I know I've met over the years and interviewed many diversity, equity, inclusion, and the various names that those titles have at different corporations, whether it be for the radio station or different various initiatives I'm working on. And they're almost invariably Black women. Now we're seeing it in the layoffs. And it is having a disproportionate impact, negative impact on Black people. The Guardian, their report from the Guardian newspaper shows that Meta's decision to get rid of DEI programs had create a huge reduction in Black and Latino representation within that company. And this is something that I feel like is a talking point. That's a great example of why we do Talking Point Tuesdays, because people repeat something that sounds right. It is true that lots of white women got jobs through DEI. But first of all, DEI is not affirmative action. You don't get an extra weighted situation. You just get an opportunity to apply for a job. They do additional outreach. They don't give you a job because you're Black or Latino. They give you an opportunity to apply for a job. And there's a report from McKinsey & Company that shows that diverse teams are 35% more likely to outperform their less diverse counterparts. Otherwise, it's better for business, better for education. So there's no business reason for this. In fact, it's anti-business. It's anti-data. And the talking point is wrong. Black professionals are being laid off more than other people by these initiatives. 38,000 jobs Black women lost in April. 2025. 38,000 jobs. Black women's unemployment rate jumps from 5.1 to 6.1%. It's the biggest increase among all demographic groups during that period of time. This is linked to DEI, but y'all want to keep repeating talking points without any evidence, and I try to tell y'all that is not true. So check your talking points, because a lot of times the things we're saying don't even make sense and they don't serve us. Oh my goodness, we haven't talked about this. This woman, Adriana Smith, she's brain dead, right? But they're forcing her to stay on life support because she's pregnant. And the abortion laws, the very strict abortion laws in Georgia, mean that they have to keep her on life support, even though she's brain dead and her body is deteriorating, until that baby is formed enough to be delivered. The doctors say they had to make that decision in order to stay in compliance with the state's strict abortion ban. The family does not agree. The medical bills are racking up. The woman's a 30-year-old nurse. She was only 9 weeks pregnant when she was declared brain dead back in February. And the doctors told them, you have no choice. We're going to keep her on life support because that's what the abortion laws require. A fetus is defined as a person with legal rights. They're going to keep her alive, technically alive, until she's 32 weeks. We don't know. We don't know. Can a brain dead person even sustain life? What does that mean for the fetus? We don't know. It's like a weird science experiment. The family's saying it's like they're being tortured. Their loved one is dead, but being kept alive as some kind of zombie baby incubator. They feel they should have had the medical choice. But now the Republicans are in your business. They're in your hospitals. They're in your bathrooms. They're in your medicine cabinet. They're in your bed. They're in your sex life. This has never happened before. And the experts are saying there's no case ever where a brain-dead mama has been able to deliver a healthy baby. So it's like some kind of macabre, like weirdo. You talk about weird terrorism. This is weird medical conservatism. Creepy, creepy, creepy. The family is left helpless and they have to pay for it while their loved one is tortured, and who knows what's going on for that baby. Whew. This is America. Let's go to Fred calling us from LA. Hi, Fred. We got Freds. Which Fred is this?
This is Fred from Los Angeles.
Oh, this is independent Republican Fred. Hi, Fred.
Well, no, I said I'm independent. But anyway, Sean Combs, let me connect the dots with you. Smokey Robinson, E. Jean Carroll. I was listening to you last week after the Smokey Robinson case broke, and you had this woman on. And then three other women, or more than one other woman, was talking about men running into or with underage girls. So let me connect the dots.
Okay, so hold on before you kind of go off on this tangent. Those are wildly different cases that actually have nothing to do with each other. Smokey Robinson is accused by former housekeepers. Diddy is on trial for RICO charges, and E. Jean Carroll won a civil suit, actually twice, against the president. So those are they're not even similar charges. But go ahead.
I'm going to connect the dots, and then I turn on.
There are no dots, FYI.
I'm going to turn on your station Saturday, and one of your colleagues is interviewing Gloria Allred. She told us back in the 70s that women don't lie about sexual assault and rape because of the stigma. But that was before we had audio, video.
Well, I mean, look,
DNA,
Fred, we know.
In this case,
Fred, we know that sometimes women lie, just like sometimes men lie. Emmett Till is a case in point. So that's not a breaking news, and you don't need DNA and all the technology to figure that out. But again, E. Jean Carroll sued the president for sexual assault and won a massive settlement. Okay?
I got that.
Diddy is on trial, innocent until proven guilty, but they're RICO charges. Okay? And then Smokey Robinson is accused of rape and keeping a toxic work environment by former housekeepers. Separate cases.
My question is, my point is, when are women going to take responsibilities for their actions? Now, we already established that they lie about rape. Now, let's talk about the 17-year-old.
No, we haven't established that. Hold on a second.
You just said it.
No, I didn't just say it. And you're not going to put words in my mouth because I'll hang this phone on your freaking face. I said people lie sometimes. Men and women lie sometimes. There is no evidence that women consistently lie about rape or do so at a high level. So don't try to be tricky because I'm not the one. I am not the one, Fred. Okay? Now go ahead and make your point.
Made your point. Now the other side of the issue was the 17-year-old. My sister called me up about 50 years ago. She was 25. She said, will you meet me at the nightclub tonight? I agreed to meet her there at 10 o'clock. We were about number 7 and 8 in line. What I didn't know is she brought our younger sister, who was 17 at the time. Now, you got every guy in line eyeing the 17-year-old. I said, well, how's she going to get in? She says, my older sister says, well, I'm going to give her my driver's license. Well, sign on the door, must have ID under 21. Fast forward, 25-year-old goes in. 17-year-old gets there, stops. They ask for her ID. She gives her my older sister's driver's license. She goes in. I go in. I was about 24, maybe 23.
Okay, give me the short version, Fred, because this sounds like a long story.
Very short. We get a table. The 17-year-old gets up and goes to the bar. Now I got a chance to confront my 25-year-old. I said, you got every guy in line looking at the 17-year-old. Now they know she's 21. You got the bartender serving her a drink. He knows she's 21. You got the establishment. Now, fortunately, nothing happened that night. But when are women going to take responsibility for their actions?
Okay. Thank you for your sexist diatribe. Have a nice day. Let's go to Dwight calling us from the city of Compton.
Good morning, Dominique. Hotel Peace. Good morning to everyone there at KBLA and Travis, Miles. Thank you guys for giving us.
What is happening right now? It's because I don't feel good. Like the universe is trying me. I should have stayed home and taken some NyQuil.
No. And it's funny, Dominique. I heard Travis say he had people in his own family that voted for Republicans and voted for Trump. And I said, well, now I don't feel so bad because we all got people that drank the Kool-Aid, and it's so obvious they're just trying to dumb down the population, destroying the Department of Education, taking away lunches from kids. I mean, health care from families and kids. And if they wanted so much people to have babies, why don't they reinstate the child tax credit? But Dominique, I just want to thank you for keeping us informed and showing us that. I mean, they have brainwashed the people so bad. They talking about we at war with Venezuela. A Venezuela jockey just won the Kentucky Derby. A Venezuela golfer was one of the top golfers on the PGA. So, I mean, it's so corrupt, Dominique. I wouldn't believe anything Republicans say, and these people try to switch points on stuff that's not important. The fact that we losing our democracy. So, Dominique, and maybe if they do.
So let's unpack some of the stuff you're saying, Dwight, because I get it. I'm glad you called. We're here for you. Let it all out. Yes, but, the MAGAs are everywhere. I have one in my family, to be honest with you, which I never thought I'd see today. Everywhere. We're currently not on speaking terms. But because to me, I don't know how you can vote for someone who's going to endanger the lives of your own nieces and nephews and cousins and brothers and sisters. Yeah. Well, I mean, even just forget the democracy. Let's talk about your cousin, your brother, your auntie being in danger, whether they be a LGBTQ plus person or an activist.
Or a pregnant woman. Going to the hospital for a miscarriage.
Right.
She's going to die on the emergency floor now.
Right. So that's, I mean, you're right. I want to save our democracy. I think we're all getting a little tired of that talking point, though, because it sounds kind of abstract. But to bring it to everyday life, people are dying right now. You can't, if you're pregnant, if I was pregnant, I'd be so scared. If anything happens to me and I need help, I'm ass out because doctors are under threat right now.
Yeah, what if you're visiting a relative in a Republican state and you just happen to have your miscarriage while you're on vacation visiting a relative and you're pregnant? I mean, who knows? But maybe if more white people knew the inventions that black people have done, the street light. Every time they stop at a street light, they'll thank black inventors for inventing the street light, for inventing the gas mask that we see the firemen wear going into burning buildings. I mean, and the blood dripping at the hospital out of the bag. Charles Drew invented the blood bag. So, I mean, they use our products every day and don't have a clue.
That is true. That is true. You know, and Jamal Hakim says he has a family member who's a MAGA head that works for the post office, and they are everywhere. People are saying, Fahima in the chat saying, why is Fred even calling KBLA? Doesn't have MAGA have radio shows up and down the dial? And this is something you always bring up, Dwight, which is that KBLA is one of the few. It's not just one of the few black-owned. There's only 5 black-owned talk radio stations in the whole country, and only one is west of the Mississippi. That would be us. There are thousands of right-wing radio stations. So why are the ops in our chat, as Terrence Petetta says, ops running rampant on this page? Why are the ops in the chat? Why are they calling me? Because we are powerful and because we're growing. More and more people are in the chat, on the app, on our socials every single day. And so our voices are getting louder with our tiny little megaphones that we have. Meanwhile, they have thousands of stations. They're commanding the narrative everywhere, but their storyline is still falling apart. The cracks are starting to show.
Dominique, in closing, thank you guys for keeping us informed. And common sense is thrown out the window nowadays. You would think firemen, why would they be in a party that doesn't believe in climate change? And we just had Altadena and the Palisades destroyed with fires, these tornadoes in Kansas and the heat wave going through Texas. I mean, it's so obvious climate change is real. They've been denying it since the 70s, Dominique. But, Dominique, thank you guys for keeping us informed. And we just got to pray that it's more of us than more of them. Because trying to get them to believe facts and reality seems to be a hard situation. Yeah. It ain't going to be anything less than us just doing the best we can do to overcome their.
Absolutely. Thank you, Dwight. Appreciate the call. Yeah, we love you too. And the thing is, I know some people do change. There are ex-MAGA. There are people that wake up and smell the evidence. It does happen, but I agree that sometimes what Paul says, it's a waste of time trying to convince these people at this point. So that's why I said peace out. I don't want to argue him with this dude about whether or not. He's talking about a 17-year-old that got into a club 50 years ago. You see a teenager in a club, even if she had a fake ID, you're a person with eyes. And you can usually tell that person is 17. And if you don't know, then don't sleep with her. It's not rocket science. You're not going to blame the victims. That's not what we're doing. And also trust and verify. Everybody deserves due process. Even Smokey Robinson. Even Sean Diddy Combs. Because you think you know, but you might not know. Let's see what the evidence shows. It's not illegal to have baby oil. And people do lie. But to say, when are women going to take accountability? That sounds like a you problem, Fred. I suggest therapy. That's what I suggest. But why do I even take these calls? Some people are asking. Because I'm not scared. Oh, that was Fahima. And it's not to prove a point. It's because, look, I'm not going to let you dominate my station. I'm not going to let you get on here and try to be tricky. That dude almost had me cussing, and I'm not going to do that. But the point is, I'm not going to be scared. I'm not going to be like MAGA and just make the lies, misinformation, and only our voices allowed. We are transparent and open because we're not afraid, because we know we're right, because we're data-based, evidence-based, fact-based. We don't just make stuff up. Amin from LA, you have the mic. Amin, you ready?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, good. Can you hear me good?
I do.
Yeah, good. Good show. Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Yes.
Says that A lot of people getting laid off. They should start a business at the same time they're looking for another job too, or both at the same time. Robert Kiyosaki,
Yeah, I love that book,
also,
Rich Dad Poor Dad. Yeah,
Poor Dad, and a whole lot of other things from Rich Dad publications. Number two, we continues with this fantasy that Trump runs this country. Trump doesn't run this country. The Federal Reserve Board runs this country. Not Trump. He's taking orders. He's not that intelligent.
Well, he has influence. I mean, I agree. The president, he has influence, though. Let's not act like he's just a...
But ultimately, we continue with this fiction, and we are miseducating the masses of the public by saying Trump.
Yeah, you're right.
The Federal Reserve Board.
He may have more influence than other presidents because of his weird charisma cult thing that he's got going.
Right. So, it's because all this is because they're trying to save the dollar. The dollar's crashed. A great part of the countries of the world do not trade in dollars. They want to trade in their own currency.
Right.
And they're trying to salvage that. They're trying to salvage that either through a war. They can't get through a war. Nobody wants to have a war with Iran. Or they're finding some way to throw us into a catastrophe, throw us into a tizzy or whatever, so they could get back and manipulate us with their Federal Reserve notes.
I mean, it's also, we're up against news, traffic, and sports. It's a really interesting conversation. I mean, I hope you'll call me again. I enjoyed talking with you.
Already.
It's news, traffic, and sports, and we're talking men's health, and looking forward to that conversation. Lord knows we need it. I want you to take care of yourself, and the doctor will be in the house when we continue this conversation. We will be, after news, traffic, and sports, we'll be talking with Dr. Leo Moore, only right here on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. President Trump, now chair of the Kennedy Center Board, criticized the institution at a White House dinner, calling its modern additions crazy and slamming past programming as woke. He took aim at DEI initiatives, queer and trans youth events, and what he called lesbian-only Shakespeare. Trump vowed to overhaul the center, which recently announced a lineup including Chicago, Moulin Rouge, and Back to the Future, the musical. Self-deportation flights have started with the departure of dozens of illegal immigrants from Houston on Monday. The Department of Homeland Security has been offering $1,000 and a free flight to any undocumented immigrant willing to return to their home country. Monday's charter flight took 38 people to Honduras and 26 to Colombia. And more severe weather is forecast today into the lower Ohio and Tennessee valleys. Damaging winds, hail, and possible tornadoes could threaten the region. Heavy storms will reach parts of Maryland by tonight. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Southern California Edison reminds you that downed wires are dangerous. Never approach or touch a downed wire or anything in contact with it. Stay away and call 911. Learn more at sce.com/stay safe.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The Angels are still playing well. After sweeping the Dodgers over the weekend, they started a 7-game road trip Monday night with a 4-3 win at Oakland. 4 straight win for the Angels and their manager, Ron Washington. The Dodgers have lost 4 straight. They lost 9-5 at home Monday night to Arizona. The Dodgers were down 7-0 after 3 innings. The Western Conference Finals tip off tonight in the NBA playoffs. Minnesota at Oklahoma City in Game 1 of the best of 7. 2 years ago, Minnesota and OKC played each other in the play-in tournament. Both teams are now one step away from playing for the NBA championship. 5:30 tip-off tonight on ESPN. Detroit Lions general manager Brad Holmes gave the commencement speech Saturday at the graduation ceremonies for HBCU North Carolina A&T. Holmes was a defensive back at A&T and graduated from the school in 1999. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need.
Hard to believe 4 years has gone by so fast. Oh my God! But here we are, still standing, still loving